Good morning, everyone. It's Robin with a blog update. As you know, I usually like to do these updates every few weeks, let you know what's going on in my life, and try to share some personal um, information. Try to be honest, kind of like a diary, I guess. So today, I just want to talk about sort of a major event that happened to me this weekend. I don't know if I've ever talked about this before. I don't think I have, but I've talked about my, time in the hospital when I was in aneurysm back in April. Where I just filmed myself in the hospital and what I was going through. So, it's just something that good to do, especially if something's on your mind. I mean, as you know, so many people are now completely isolated, and I put myself in that camp. I've basically been alone with my wife for about a year and a half, and I've had really no social contact other than talking to people on YouTube, responding to emails from people who are commenting on my videos. So that has been really great and has kept me going, having that ability to communicate that way. So this is why I always appreciate everybody's comments on my video, and I was happy to respond to everyone. So today I just want to talk about what happened this weekend, and it was really a sort of a big event that I'm sure everybody eventually goes through, or a lot of people go through, and that is that I had to put my mother in a care home yesterday, which we sort of knew that was coming. I mean, it's been maybe for a few years that we saw her, being affected by dementia, and she's 83 now. So I think it's been within the last 5 years that it started getting worse, and her personality completely changed. She, at this point now, can not really remember anything, 5-10 minutes after it's been, if you tell her something, she's not going to remember it 5 minutes later. So that's been really frustrating. So she basically, would start with forgetting everybody's birthday, and we were wondering what happened. Mom never phoned. And then it became slowly evident that she was having a problem. So she was on medication already for years for this. And mentioned also my dad had died about almost 3 years ago, and he was 79, and he went in his sleep. He had, pulmonary issues, and he had had his bladder removed due to cancer, and that had probably been about a year or two before that. But it all kind of caught up to him. His long lifestyle of smoking and drinking. So I'm actually surprised that he made it that long, considering. So, but it was pretty quick for him, and in his sleep, which is the way you would want to go. So for my mom, it's not going to be that easy, and so now, with the way things have been going the last year or so, she's had a partner for years who's younger than her by, I don't know, 5-6 years, but his health also got worse in the last year, and he got diagnosed with throat cancer. So he's been in and out of hospitals for the last 5 months, and leaving my mother alone in her townhouse. So that's been obviously hard for her. So lately we've had to go out there and spend time with her, and she has some home care come there a couple times a day, but there were never any overnights. That's really expensive to have somebody overnight. So we were trying to figure out what to do, and then just the last week or so, her partner had to go back in for surgery to have his esophagus removed. So I saw him yesterday. So this was like, everything kind of happened at once yesterday. We had to go out to take my mom to a care home, and she's already been in a home earlier in the year for like a week or two because of her partner being in the hospital. So we had to drive out there, and it's about hour and a half drive from Vancouver. This is the town Abbotsford where I spent my years from like age 11 to 20, and she's still in the same townhouse she's been in since, like, I don't know, 1995, after she got separated from my father. So she's still there, and obviously, wants to stay there. She likes it there. They have a couple cats. So it was the day that we knew was coming, and of course you always hope it's going to be delayed. You're like, well, they're still together and they still seem to be okay, and taking care of each other. But once he got sick, he's really hardly can take care of himself now. So we went out there yesterday, and I hadn't seen him in a few months, and I seriously almost did not recognize him. That's how much he had changed. He had lost a lot of weight, and obviously was not in his best condition, having to go for surgery, and that's actually happening this morning. So we don't know yet how he's doing. And he has his daughter and son. They came over as well. So first, seeing him, and that was a shock. Seeing how he's degraded since the last time I saw him, and then to sit there and talk to Mom about what we're going to do. So she obviously thinks we're just visiting. I was like, oh, nice to see you, and she obviously doesn't remember we were just there a few weeks ago. As like I said, she has a 5-minute memory retention at best. So it was a matter of constantly having to tell her what is going on. So first I was like, well, Mom, Jim's going for his operation tomorrow. And she's like, what? Why didn't anybody tell me? So, that's how bad it is. He's probably been telling her every day, and she just does not remember it. So again, she was shocked, and then had to tell her that we're going to take her to, a home. And so you try to get around that issue. Like, how do you explain that? And it's like a hotel, and you'll be there for a short time while he recuperates. And, had to say it would be like 2 weeks. And I said, but there'll be lots of nice people there, and you'll get some social activities, and you won't be alone, because, every time we were there, she was afraid to be alone. And at night, especially. And of course, she would, eventually, I guess, get over it. But she always brings that up. So and the problem is my sister lives about 5 hours away from here, and she's also working. So can't really take her in, and give her 24-hour care. And same with my brother. And we have a small place, and we don't really have room here either. So it's really difficult. So the home became the only way to do it. And so we had to kind of find what was available quickly before he went into the hospital again for his 2 weeks, because she was already found like wandering outside the townhouse, and the neighbors would find her outside. So this was not safe. So we got her this place, and it's not cheap. It's like, $230 a day or something. So it's kind of crazy expensive. Like even 2 weeks would be like over $3,000, $4,000. So I was kind of surprised by the place. I guess it was like one of the run-of-the-mill homes, sort of an average price. But while we were in there, I didn't see her for like 10 minutes, and then we go into the office to do the paperwork, and then my mom saw me, and she was like, I know you. So she had already completely forgotten that I was there the entire time. And even while we were arriving, she was like, what am I doing here? And what is this? And why can't I stay home? So you're like, oh, you have to talk her through it again. So it's just this repeating thing again and again, the same bad information. And you have to repeat it because she doesn't remember what's going on. So we finally got her in there and went through the paperwork, and it's just looked really basic. And the weird part was like everybody else we saw there was in a wheelchair. So she seemed to be like the most mobile person there. She has really no physical issues. She's still, in good shape, and she doesn't even wear glasses, and so she got to talk to some of the people there and already, and so we kind of went through the whole thing there of signing the papers and seeing what is available. I guess they'll have some social activities, and there's a big dining room, and so they ready, 3 meals a day. But my wife saw the room she was in and was not really that, didn't look that comfortable. So it's the, kind of like more like a hospital bed with, big room, but really nothing in it. So I was not happy to hear about that, but, what can you do? So, she had a suitcase of her basic necessities and things that we packed her to last 2 weeks. So the plan is she'll be there for 2 weeks and then hopefully move to the final home after that, which is in Mission, which is, that's actually where my dad lived in the last 15 years of his life. And there's a home there, and we're hoping that one's better. I've seen a few pictures. I don't know. It's hard to tell just from a few shots on the website. But I guess this was the thing that every child dreads, right? It's the moment when you have to put your parent in a home. And there is, so it just kind of really hit me yesterday as I was going through it. And I was like, wow, this is really nasty. And they, as we were having to leave, and of course she didn't want us to go, and trying to comfort her in staying there with these strange people. And, and she had this panicked look as we were left from the window. And the only comfort I could take out of any of this was the fact that she would not remember us even being there, like 5-10 minutes later. So that seems to be the only positive thing, is that she can't really dwell on, maybe remembering that we were there and missing us or whatever, because she just doesn't have any retention anymore. So all these things together, and then, like her seeing her partner in his condition and don't know what's going to happen to him. And on top of that, they have a couple cats, and they're both old. So one of them has to be euthanized because nobody can take care of the cat. And that's what she would always say when we were there. She's like, where are the cats? Like, she was constantly just wondering where the cats were. And of course, it's a big house, so they're running and hiding. And I think one of them was almost dead, so it was hiding somewhere in the house, as cats are, like to do. They like to hide when they're going and you don't see them. So you have to deal with that as well. So my brother was over there, and then the daughter and son of her partner came over there, and they had just been in like a major car accident. So they came in limping, and I was like, oh my God, what next? Like this guy's arm was broken, and his partner was limping, and they had been in hospital for 8 hours, and it was like a major car accident where their car was totaled, and they were lucky to be alive. So you're just like, it's like one side after another, talking to my mom, oh, where am I going? And why didn't anyone tell me? And then talking to them about their major car accident, and then talking to her partner who's going in for major cancer surgery and having his esophagus removed. Basically, they'll move the stomach up. So basically, it's like mouth to stomach. They take the whole esophagus out. So we don't even know if he's going to survive this. And so all this at once, right? And then you're having to pack everything up, and it's like, oh man. So we did get her out there, and I don't know how it's going yet. We'll have to phone and see how she's doing. Luckily, we can have some, contact there, and then hopefully be able to go out and visit her soon. So yeah, I just really wanted to talk about this because I really, haven't known anyone to talk about this other than my wife and my brother and sister. So we're kind of all, going through it. But it really just, brings into focus the fact that nothing lasts forever, right? I mean, we all know this, but when it's sort of presented to you right there, you're like, okay, here it is, and you suddenly become very aware of your mortality. And being put in this kind of situation, I just had admiration for the people that do this type of work. Dementia care, long-term care. These people are so underpaid, and it's a tough situation, for everybody. So, how do you deal with it? Especially when it comes to something like dementia, which is, very common. And she's taking drugs for this. I don't know if they're helping or not, but it's been getting worse over time. Luckily, she still remembers who I am. And, like she said, oh, I know you. So I'm there the whole time, and she suddenly thinks I just walked in, you know. So that's really odd to try and, relate to somebody that has no memory of anything. It's like they're not really completely there. So you're dealing almost with with a half ghost. Everything we do really is based on memory. So if you tell a story, like I tell her about being in the hospital in April for the aneurysm, it's a new story every time. So I think I've told it maybe 3 times, but now I just gave up. There's no point talking about it anymore, because it will go nowhere and it'll just be gone. So I show her old photographs, and she seems to still remember some of the people in these pictures, even including my dad, which was surprising. Like, I showed her an old shot from the 60s of Dad and myself, and she still seemed to remember that, which was surprising. So there are some, long-term memories that are still there of people, but anything short-term, she won't know what's going on in the world, or anything we do. So anyway, I wanted to share that because I really wanted to talk about it. And, if anybody has any comments about it or wants to share, feel free, because, it's good to share these things, because so many people have had the same experience, and how they, how do they deal with it. So, yeah. And we'll see what happens now. I'm going to have 2 weeks and see what her next step is going to be for her. But yeah, it's unlikely she's going back to her home, so we're going to have to sell it, and maybe the money from the house sale is going to have to help her pay for her continued care, and then having to go through the house, and there's so much junk in that house, like I can't even begin to describe it. I mean, my mom's a hoarder of clothing. So there's just so much stuff in her townhouse that's been accumulated for the last, 25 years. She just continuously buying clothes that she never wears. We just found racks of clothing in her rooms with tags still on them, and racks of shoes, and every closet is filled with clothing. And and then we're trying to find her a pair of runners, like something simple. Can't even find runners. She's just wearing slippers around the house and doesn't have any decent footwear. It's just crazy, so there's like all this junk you have to go through, and I still have to find my diaries from when I was in Europe doing my cycling trip in the early 90s. I kept a few years of diaries, like every day, and I left it with her back in 97 when I got back from Europe, and she put it in storage somewhere, and I have not found or seen them since. And now I'm like going through these rooms and trying to find, where could this be? It could be like a bag of notebooks. And she, of course, promises me she didn't throw that out, but I don't know. And so I'm hoping I can find this through her, through the tons of junk in all these rooms, So that's going to take some time to go through, because I would really like to, see that again, and hopefully, get it transferred to digital, because I obviously got a good book in there, because it covered my whole 2 years of bike travel through Europe, and going through Holland and Germany and Italy, and just everything that I experienced on that trip. And it was very detailed, because I rode every day. I was just absolutely had to write every day about my experiences, and it was quite entertaining. So I hope to find that again, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this, so I'll let you know what was going on. Not always all the news is going to be good. I guess in good news, I can say I have started some guitar lessons on the weekend. I have been advertising. So I had my first student on Saturday, and we did this by Zoom. Yeah, and it went quite well. I was quite happy with it. I was worried about the technical side of things, but it seemed like it was functioning. I had my amp set up there, and you could hear each other properly. So I think it was like a 3-hour time difference, but I had fun. And it's something I had not really thought about for years until people had mentioned it to me, because I mentioned this before. I didn't have a good experience with my own lessons, so I think that has really kept me away from even thinking about doing it myself. So it's sort of like a negative connotation to lessons because of my own experience. But so I am at a point now, I'm 59 and I've been playing for 45 years, that I think I do have actually something to give as far as that goes. So I decided might as well try it, there's nothing to lose. And, I need to do it anyway because I need to, get some more income. It's been really hard because right now I'm not able to play guitar anywhere. I mean, clubs don't exist. I mentioned this before, that's why I was busking. And I haven't been busking either, mainly because of the stress levels that I went through in busking. And I really have to watch my health now because of the aneurysm. That's something that, can easily be triggered by too much stress. It's just like a narrowing of the arteries. I've got this fibromuscular dysplasia, which is narrowing of the arteries. So that could be dangerous, and I've gone through, almost died this year. So I don't really want to get myself into that again. I mean, I never say never, maybe I'll do it occasionally next year. I don't know. Maybe just to get out and get some social contact, because I'm going to lose my mind, this continues. It's already been 18 months of strict isolation, really just going out, cycling, walking, and then communicating by email with people, right? So this is not something that's going to be healthy long term. So really, it's been my guitar that has also kept me going, and of course my wife. And so music is very important for me on a daily basis. As you see, I've been putting up videos every day. So it's therapy for me to keep my sanity, and also hopefully therapy for you. I'm hearing from a lot of people that are, making connections with the music, and that's great because that's really the ultimate goal. So I'm going to keep doing that, and hopefully that will keep helping you and others. And I'll continue putting up the busking videos as well. But yeah, this has to continue. That's my connection with music, very important. So I'm able to put a lot of feeling into what I'm doing there, which might otherwise, a lot of people would spend trying to talk or get some kind of therapy to try to deal with it. So I'm gonna keep that up, and I hope you enjoy it. So like I say, I'm starting guitar lessons mainly also because I thought, okay, it's time, let's see if it works. And I also have to do it to help myself financially. I have links in all my videos, like I say, please check out Patreon subscription, because even a little bit per month would be really helpful. Like if I had like 100 people putting in $1 or $5 a month, that would be really great. And look at it as a subscription service to YouTube, because I do not make any money through YouTube. I'm trying to get this sorted out with YouTube. So far I have not gotten anywhere, because they've actually noticed, they said something about, oh, we noticed you're complaining about YouTube, or you have some problems. So obviously they have seen that a lot of people ask me why I'm demonetized, and I go into great lengths to explain why I'm demonetized and I don't make any money. So YouTube has caught attention to this. So they write me and say, well, what can we do? Talk to us. And I basically told them, well, I can't make any income off YouTube. I get nothing for views. I had almost 5 million views in June and didn't make a cent. Now, for a normal YouTube channel that has as many subscribers as me, this would be a nice chunk of income, which you would get paid out on a monthly basis. And I don't get any of that because of being demonetized. So I'm trying to get out of that demonetized situation and talking to them about it. As this is something that happened 10 years ago, and it involves an old publishing number I had to give them, and I can't get this number to go through the system where you can try to appeal this demonetization. So waiting for the next step to see what they can do about that and who do I talk to. So hopefully something will come out of that. I don't know. But as it is now, I don't make anything off YouTube. So I'm basically working full-time on guitar, writing music, putting up music, which is a long process on YouTube to do this every day, make videos, make the music, process it, put it on Bandcamp. So remember, I am also selling all these tracks that you hear on YouTube. Every single track I put up has a link that you can download from Bandcamp. You can get streaming or you can download in high quality. So this is much better than just listening on YouTube. I mean, I leave that in there as an option to help support. So if you really like what you're hearing, please think about supporting. Even YouTube, when you're monetized, has an option to subscribe to a channel and pay monthly for a channel that you like. So I'm thinking, $5 a month, this is not a lot considering the amount of content that I'm putting up. I'm doing like 30 to 40 live improvised guitar videos a month. That's a lot of content, and more than like 95% of every other YouTuber. That most people put up a video a week, maybe 2 a week. That's like max for a channel. But I have so much material too that I've got to go through from the last 5 months since I got out of hospital. I have been recording almost every day, and it has piled up. So now I'm just trying to catch up with what has already been produced. And of course, that means I have to do something every day. So it's going to continue like that for a while because I have just so much music that I've done. So please think about supporting in some small way, either buying some music on Bandcamp, and we'll have another Bandcamp Friday on the first Friday of next month, where I will get 100% of the revenue, and compared to 90% of the revenue, which I would normally get. And that is one of the only ways I make any income now, is through the selling of my music. PayPal tip. So if you like something, you can tip. And there's also Buy Me a Coffee, which might be easier for some people. And then the Patreon pledge, which is like, you can do this month to month, any amount of money that you want, and you can quit at any time as well. But that's the other method. And then, you can buy a t-shirt as well. I put up the links for that. So anyway, I just wanted to share all that information with you because I felt I needed to also, talk about it. It always helps to talk about these things. So we'll see what happens, and I'll keep you posted in the next few weeks about the progress. What's going on with my mom, and you just have to wait and see what's going on. So thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you later.